Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, you've heard about The Witcher 4, which was made or is being made with Unreal Engine 5, the recent versions of Unreal Engine. Now, what we're going to do in this video is similar to what we did with Toy Story, right? So, I showed you in our other video how incredibly similar to Toy Story quality, which is by Pixar, the Univah Film Engine is able to produce in real time. Okay. And I asked you a simple question in that video. I said, what happens when Univah is capable in real time to produce Toy Story quality animations, Toy Story quality renders directly in the real time viewport? That's the question that I asked you. And we discussed how much money it costs for Pixar to arrive at the Toy Story quality. How much money and how much time does it cost Pixar Animation Studios to arrive at a Toy Story level render? And if it's costing hundreds of millions of dollars, and if it requires a 500 team staff or a 20 team staff or a 100 team staff plus hundreds of millions of dollars to arrive at the Toy Story quality that we go to the cinema to watch, if that's what it costs, if that's what it takes to arrive at that quality, but then Univah does that or something very close to that quality entirely in real time with one computer, with one person sitting behind a laptop, can produce Pixar quality animations, then what happens to the industry? What does that do for the industry? And that's the simple question that I asked you. Okay? Now we're going to look at Unreal Engine. We're going to look at Unreal Engine because Unreal Engine is a big deal. Unreal Engine and Unity are big deals. These are the so-called industry standard when it comes to real time. If you're doing something in real time, if you're making a game, you're probably going to be doing it in Unity or Unreal. Now, the Univah Film Engine is not a game engine. The Univah Film Engine exists because before us, there was no film engine. Anybody who wants to make a film in real time, in a similar way that a game developer would make a game, they would have had to go to a game engine in order to do so. And we don't believe that that's what filmmakers want. Filmmakers would rather have a dedicated film tool that gives them the real-time interactivity that you get from game engines without having to deal with coding and all of the complex node graphs and blueprints and all of the C++ and all of that complexity that comes with game engines. We believe that filmmakers want their own tool that functions like a game engine, but without the complexity and without the poor rendering quality of a game engine. And that's why we made a film engine. A film engine is meant to give you film quality graphics, graphics that are superior to game engines, but without the complexity and the difficult learning curve of game engines. So, how do we achieve this? And let's look at what Unreal Engine considers to be the best coming out of Unreal. Okay, we don't ever compare ourselves to the worst. We compare ourselves to the best. So we want to challenge the industry. We'll say, give us your best. And we're going to give you what we make in real time, not even our best. We're going to give you what we can do in real time. And if what we can produce in real time, without any post-processing, without any filters, without any LUTs, if our raw quality in real time can beat your over-processed and over-engineered and final product renders, then that's truly a disruption. That is undeniably, undisputed disruption. So let's look at The Witcher. And we're going to use your own words. We're going to describe you using your own words. So this is what you said about Unreal Engine. Okay? Now, before we dive into Gemini, let's just go to Google because I like to be fair. Okay? Like I said, I like to be fair. And I'm not going to describe The Witcher. I'm going to let you and what you guys said about The Witcher. And that's what we're going to use. So I've typed here, let me show you what I put on Google, because I don't want you guys to say, oh my gosh, this is unfair. So I typed on Google, I said Unreal Engine games, and it showed me The Witcher. Okay? It showed me The Witcher 4. And I remember seeing some of these ads on YouTube. And this is what you guys said. You guys said, oh my God, Unreal Engine has insane graphics. Your words. We're going to use your own words. You said, Unreal Engine is insane. Wow. Look at that. You put the word insane. I didn't put that there. Okay, these are not my words. I will never describe Unreal Engine as having insane graphics. This is what you said. You guys said, oh my God, this is insane. According to you, you saw this and you thought this was insane graphics. You put the words there. Okay. So if to you this is insane, again, this is The Witcher. This is The Witcher. Okay. And according to you, this is insane. Give me a second. Okay. So according to you, this is insane. Okay. That's what you said. These are your words. Okay. So The Witcher is this image right here. Now I want you to look at this image. And I want you to be very honest with me. What is insane about this? What is so insane and so impressive about this? What's great about this? Now, to each their own. I'm not going to say this is a terrible render. I'm not going to say that The Witcher has poor quality. To each their own. But I'm just trying to see how you arrived at the word insane when describing Unreal Engine. I'm trying to understand objectively what is insane about any of this. Okay? I'm just trying to understand, because when I look at The Witcher and I look at Univah, to me, and anyone with eyes who is being objective, Univah has superior quality. Gemini has said so. ChatGPT has said so. Everyone with eyes who is unbiased has said so. And the question now is, well, how much money did it cost? And how big of a team did it cost? And what studio made The Witcher? So let's go to Gemini and let's ask, okay, let's ask Gemini to tell us what studio made The Witcher, how much it cost, and how long it took. Okay? All right. So, yes, all of this is Unreal Engine. Okay. Let's go to Gemini and let's figure this out. Okay? Because I want you guys to see the reality of life. Hi, Gemini. Let me just say hi first. Hi, Gemini. How are you? Hello, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How can I help you today? Okay. Can you please tell me what studio made The Witcher 4? And please confirm, was it made using Unreal Engine? Unreal Engine's new version? Okay, let's see what Gemini says. Developer CD Projekt Red Okay, game engine Unreal Engine 5. Okay, Unreal Engine 5.6. So, yes, recent versions. Key details about the engine switch, moving away from project proprietary tech. Yes, partnership with Epic Games. Okay, so they're not just using Unreal Engine. Apparently, they are in partnership with Epic Games. Okay. So they have a lot at their disposal, is what Gemini is saying. Okay. How much money went into the project? Wow. So almost $1 billion to make The Witcher 4. Wow. 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 So it says to put that into perspective for previous projects, The Witcher 3 estimated total costs $81 million. Cyberpunk 2077, uh, $335 million. The Witcher 4, $800 million. Wow. Wow. Okay. How big is the team? How big is the team? Uh-huh. Core in-house team, over 513 developers working on The Witcher. So let me get this straight. So let me get this straight. You have 500 developers and $800 million, all for The Witcher 4. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. Okay. So I want you guys to keep this in mind, okay? The Witcher 4 has over 500 engineers working on this game and almost $1 billion for this game. They are in deep partnership with Epic Games, the makers of Unreal Engine, and this is what they are doing. They are using Unreal Engine 5.7, 5.6, 5.10, 5.12, whatever new version of Unreal Engine is coming out, they are using it. Okay? And with that said, this is the best that they could come up with. 500 engineers using what is arguably being called the best game engine right now that is out. According to Epic Games, I'm pretty sure they believe they're the best game engine in the world. Okay. I'm pretty sure Tim Sweeney would say they're the best game engine out there, or at least the most popular or the most talked about. And this is the best that they can do. Okay. This is the best that they can do. So I want you to look at what $1 billion can do. This is what $1 billion will get you and a team of 500 developers. This is what you get. You get this. Okay? This is what you get. Look at it, guys. Look at it. Look at this. This is $1 billion and 500 developers. And they said it's insane. This is insane. Now look at Univah. This is Univah. One developer, one computer, Did it in 20 minutes. Now you tell me which is insane. What's insane? What's more impressive? The fact that it takes them $1 billion to arrive at this quality? Or the fact that I arrived at this quality in 20 minutes in real time on one laptop? You tell me, okay? You tell me what it means that I could achieve this quality on an engine I made myself with my team of less than 4 developers, okay? A new company, new software company. I've been around since 2021. We started in 2020. Unreal Engine has been around since 1990 what? 1997? And we have better rendering quality than Unreal. So if our rendering quality is superior to Unreal Engine, and you say Unreal Engine is insane, if Unreal Engine is insane, according to you, and Univah is superior to Unreal Engine in terms of quality, then how would you describe Univah? Are we more insane? How would you describe Unreal? If you describe Unreal and it has inferior graphics to Univah, but you say Unreal is insane, then how do you describe Univah? What words would you use to describe Univah? So I just wanted you guys to look at what a $1 billion company is putting out. Look at what a $1 billion company, look at what $1 billion gets you, and a team of 500 staff and a bunch of marketing, okay? They have a huge marketing budget because you have to market things. You have to pump it up, overhype it. So with a bunch of marketing dollars, a group of 500 developers, $800 million budget, and this is what you're getting. And the question is, does Univah match the quality? Look at the quality of Univah. If I import some trees in Univah, that's what I want you to ask. Okay, because some of you, you're going to look at this and you're going to say, oh, but Stephanie, all I see are 3 guys sitting. Yeah, but you obviously you're not someone who is unintelligent. You're a very intelligent person according to you, right? So if you're so intelligent, then I want you to use your imagination. Ask yourself, if we're rendering people, this is a person, correct? She's a person. Okay. So she's a person. This is a person. And when you compare the quality of person to person, which is rendered at higher fidelity, which looks more believable, which can pass for a film or a real person, this guy or this girl? Which one looks more like a game, her or these people sitting down? Okay, bingo, case closed. Univah wins, okay? Because as we're rendering people, for those of you who know, people are the hardest to render. It's harder to render people realistically than anything else. You have a lot of engines that don't know how to render people. You've got engines that render people well, but they don't render environments well. And then you've got engines that render environments well, but they don't know how to render people well. And then you've got engines that don't know how to render. So it really just depends. A lot of times you see an engine, it renders environments well, but then the people look washed out. The people look like trash. Okay, the people, the skin looks overexposed. It doesn't look good. So the question that you need to ask yourself is, does this foliage pass for real? Okay. Are you looking at these rocks and saying, oh, that looks like real life? That mountain looks real. Okay. And in Univah, I want you to ask yourself, you've seen rocks rendered in Univah. Okay. You've seen things rendered in Univah. So go watch our videos and ask yourself, when we upload a tree, when we import a tree, when we import rocks, water, all these things, okay? So if this is what $1 billion can do, guys, Univah is in a really good position, okay? Because if we can compare our raw engine quality, and again, that's what is really making people so mad. The people that consider themselves competitors, or the people who believe like they believe they should be beating us, they get upset because they look at what we are able to produce in real time, and then they go back and they look at their work and they're confused. They don't know what to do. They're confused because they're like, well, it took them so much money and so much time to arrive at this quality. And this is their final quality, guys. This is not a viewport. Unreal Engine's viewport doesn't look like this. And it definitely doesn't look like this. Okay? It doesn't look like Univah's viewport. So the Unreal Engine Live viewport looks significantly worse than this. And in order for them to get what they think is insane graphics, they have to use movie render queue and ray tracing and all this other stuff. And then they have to color correct and color grade and use ACES tone mapping and use this filter and that filter. And by the time they've applied 10 different filters and they've used so much blur and depth of field and blurriness and bokeh, and by the time they've applied all these filters and post-processing effects, that's when they get this. Okay? They get this after they've applied this filter and that filter, and after they've applied this tone mapping and that tone mapping and this LUT and that LUT and color grade this and color grade that. After they've done so much, they get that. This is what they get. And then they say insane graphics. So when you compare their final product after it's been tone mapped and color graded and this, that, and blah, 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 when you compare this now, what they finally show you, the final product, to Univah's raw output, this is raw, guys. This is raw. You know I'm not lying because I did it in front of you. I showed you how we imported this. This is raw. Okay? This is raw. And it is superior to their final. My God. Their final product, which required $800 million to make, and a 500 team developer, 500 people, and $800 million produced this. And yet, Univah's raw quality is superior. That's why people are upset, okay? People are getting mad at us and they are feeling disrupted. They can feel the disruption. They know what happens when this product finally hits the market. They know what happens when if we can do this without $800 million, that's what I want you to ask yourself. And that's the question all of them are feeling right now. Everybody's feeling the disruption because they're saying to themselves, my God, if they can do this with their tiny budget, what happens when Stephanie gets $800 million? If I can do this now, what happens when Stephanie gets $800 million and 500 developers working for the Stephanie Michael software company? What happens when we get the exact same amount of money that they're getting? What happens when we get the same budget that they're getting? Then what are we capable of if we're doing this already right now? That's why we're disruptive. We're disruptive because we don't have nearly as much as they have. And somehow we're still beating them in their own arena, in their own field, and we're not even in their field.